As long as you're in a deficit, it doesn't matter what you eat, essentially. That's what Greg and Dr. Mike were saying. It doesn't really matter.
Like his cookbook, right? Could you do that sometimes? Sure. I feel like Can you do it every day? You're not going to get in good shape that way.
Yeah. And so if it's prep day 1, and they can't follow the diet on day 1 when it's easy, imagine what it's going to be like 8 weeks into the diet.
The only thing that makes me happy is looking at myself in the mirror.
Coach Greg, in today's video, the Tren twins are calling out Coach Greg and Mike Israetel. And so apparently it's now prep day number 1, and Coach Kyle is going to be training them, talking about diet and so on. And so the Tren twins in the past, you know, they've been falling off their diet. They sometimes have cheat meals, eating donuts and so on. But now that Coach Kyle is in charge of them, there's no junk food whatsoever. Get rid of the sugar-free maple syrups, no diet pops. Everything has to be perfect. But does it really?
We're visiting Coach Kyle.
So we gotta be on top of our shit. That means no sugar-free syrup, which is kind of detrimental to my mental health.
And so they're visiting Coach Kyle, and so they have to eat stricter than last time. No more sugar-free syrups, although he says it's detrimental for my mental health. Now listen. If the diet is not sustainable, if you hate it, are you actually going to follow it? And I'm telling you, you are not. I coach many people in secret. I've coached thousands of athletes in the past, and I can tell you this. If they don't like the diet their coach gives them, or if they feel like they can't handle it, they're going to cheat and not tell their coach. Rarely does the athlete own up to what they're doing in the real world. And so if the coach says to the athlete, you can't have diet pop, you can't have sugar-free maple syrup, you can't have artificial sweeteners, you can't put condiments on your meals. Do you really think that athlete is going to do so? Do you really think they're going to tell their coach, you know, I cheated on my diet, I had a Diet Coke this week. I put an artificial sweetener in my coffee once during the week. Do you really think that's going to make even 1%, even 0.1% of a difference come showtime? I'm telling you that it's not. And so what the coach is doing is putting unrealistic expectations on the athlete. And then when they do the show, if they perhaps don't win, the coach will say, oh, you drank a Diet Pepsi on Thursday and that ruined it. That is why you're not shredded. But you would have had 4% body fat, but you chose to drink Diet Pop until a week out from the show. How dare you? How could you do that? Well, does it not make more sense to give them a realistic diet that they can follow, that they can stick to, that they'll enjoy? One that will allow them to actually follow the diet in the real world? Well, based on my experience, remember I've done this for decades, I'm telling you that if you have a diet that's realistically something you can follow, you're going to follow it. But if you put unrealistic expectations, it has to be plain chicken breast, chicken, broccoli, and rice every single day. The athlete's not going to follow it, and the rare person that does, perhaps 1 in 100, well, that's great. But only a 1 in 100 are going to do it. And so does it not make more sense to give them the diet that most people couldn't follow, and that most people would be successful with, versus giving them a diet that most likely is going to result in them failing?
I'm gonna get some groceries, go to his house, show him that I'm a fat ass. And
No, they were not fat asses. They were sticking to our diet properly.
And so they're going to go and show their physiques. They're going to show you the posing. Is going to go through the compulsories, show you, are they in shape? Are they not in shape? And they're saying, hey, we're fat asses. But yet he says, hey, no, we're not. We're following the diet to a T. Yet we've seen in previous videos, we've seen them have cheat meals. We've seen them go into the grocery store, buy in sugar-free maple syrup, of which it's not on the diet.
we got the basics, chicken, egg white.
I'm starving.
Bro, these are low-key hacks. 60 calories, 12 grams of protein.
And so you can see he's clearly bought the sugar-free maple syrup, and so he's not following the diet to a T. But do you really think that's going to matter? Well, a little foreshadowing. We watched Coach Greg and Mike Israetel, and they said it's okay.
Oh, I got the tongue game, brother. I can see.
And so does anyone think that the Tren twins having sugar-free Greek yogurt with sugar-free maple syrup is going to hurt their gains? Do you really think that that should be off limits? I'm telling you, and Mike Israetel is telling you, it's perfectly okay. It's perfectly acceptable. It is in no way going to hinder your gains. Unless for some reason you have some kind of adherence to these foods, somehow it makes you sick. For example, if you're lactose intolerant and you're consuming lactose, then sure, don't have it. But if you can eat these foods and you feel good eating them, there's no reason to avoid them.
What did you get? What the fuck is this?
Sugar-free syrup, bro.
These are like anabolic as shit.
What is this?
0 sugar, 60 calories?
And so just look at the expression of Coach Kyle as he sees him buying sugar-free maple syrup and sugar-free Greek yogurt. He's not impressed. Why are you eating this? And notice in the fridge, Powerade, 0-calorie, artificially sweetened beverages. Even Chris Bumstead, 5-time Mr. Olympia champion, drinks sugar-free beverages. Other guys who have had Coach Kyle as their coach, for example, Jesse James West, also had artificial sweeteners in his coffee. Don't tell Coach Kyle, but Jesse had artificial sweeteners in his coffee. Remember, I was talking to him. And so if you really think it's going to be the deal breaker that prevents you from getting shredded, think again. Calories in, calories out. If you're in a deficit, you're going to lose weight.
How much gum we chewed there? It's 2 calories, 2 grams of sugar each.
No, I stopped chewing.
Damn, I saw y'all left with a full bag.
That was
Bro was smart.
Blueberries? You actually follow a meal plan?
And so Coach Kyle is investigating. He's noticing how much gum he's choosing. He's like, look at all the sugar in this gum. Now, one thing I do know is when you chew a lot of gum, what happens is it can actually increase your appetite. Many people are chewing gum as a replacement for eating food, but when your mouth is chewing gum and salivating actively and you taste the sweetness, you might be thinking, I want that piece, then another and another and another. And before you know it, you've eaten and swallowed the entire package.
Go through one of these a day?
No, like a quarter.
No, because
Wait. Why is this open? Why is it open?
We didn't check and see if it was open.
Don't play me like a fool.
And so Coach Kyle's like, what is going on? The bottle's already open. That means you've clearly consumed it.
Wait, why is this open?
I don't know, bro.
And so if it's prep day 1, and they can't follow the diet on day 1 when it's easy, imagine what it's going to be like 8 weeks into the diet. The closer you get to the show, the harder it's going to be. When you're at, for example, 8, 9, or 10% body fat, it's much easier to diet than when you're at 5 or 6% body fat. And so if you can't stick to a diet several weeks out from the show, what makes a person think that they're going to be able to follow the diet when it matters most? And so my advice, follow the diet that makes you happy.
Make this stuff taste good. Taste is important. If it doesn't taste good, you're not going to want to eat it.
Remember this? Remember this, guys? This diet, the diet from Coach Greg, is a diet that most people can follow for the rest of their lives. Which is better? To follow a diet you know you're going to cheat on as you're doing it on day 1, or one that you can follow on every single day?
What else do you eat in the car?
Nothing. 60 calories, 12 grams of protein, 0 sugar.
Well, they did have those 60-calorie Greek yogurt containers with 12 grams of protein. Oh my goodness, how could you eat that? And so what? Can we only eat chicken, broccoli, and rice? Is that the only thing we're allowed to eat on our program?
Like,
How much do you use, Hero?
I probably use probably 60 milliliters.
Probably 50 calories worth a day.
50 calories? That's like fucking 10 servings. There's only 24 in here. You go through half a bottle a day.
yeah,
Quick math lesson. If there's 24 servings in the container and there's 10 calories per serving and he has 50 calories, he's not having 50% of the bottle a day. It's approximately 1/5, about 20%. And so is it really that bad? 50 calories out of, let's say, a 2,500 calorie diet. 50 calories of, let's call it junk, is only 2% of the calories in his diet. Does anyone think that having 2% junk in a diet is going to be detrimental to a diet plan? Does anyone actually think that, let's say you had 10% of the calories that you ate from junk, do you really think it's going to change the look of your diet? You have 2,500 calories a day, and let's say 250 of those calories are not ideal. Perhaps it comes from chocolate or, heaven forbids, sugar. Is it really going to be that bad? Oh my goodness, I had carrots, I had bananas. These contain sugar. My diet is over. I don't think so. Myself, Mike Israetel, who's done the research, is saying it makes no difference whatsoever.
6 rice cakes, you get hella more volume than normal just rice.
And so let me ask you this. Is there something magical about rice cakes? Why is it okay to have rice cakes, of which they're having 6, approximately 200 calories, but for some reason it's not okay to have Greek yogurt and sugar-free maple syrup? What is the difference? Is there really a difference between having rice cakes, of which it's high glycemic, versus eating for something like a banana? Is it really that detrimental? Can people not have white bread? Can they not eat anabolic French toast, which is, of course, in my cookbook? Heavens forbid you have anabolic French toast, which is bread, regular ass bread, dipped in egg whites with sugar-free maple syrup. Perhaps you even added blueberries. Is that really bad? Is it going to somehow erase the gains and make it impossible to lose weight?
I feel so small right now. Maybe I do need something.
Very common for people to feel small when they're going on a diet. When you're in a calorie deficit, your glycogen stores are not maximized. You're literally in a deficit. That's how you're going to lose weight. And so you naturally are going to feel smaller. This is normal. It's part of the process. And so no, just because you're looking or feeling smaller doesn't mean you need crumble, doesn't mean you need a cheat meal, doesn't mean you need anything. It's part of the process. And when you're in the off season on a bulk, when you're in a calorie surplus, of course you're going to look bigger. You are bigger. When you have carbs, you're storing extra water, increased glycogen stores. And consider this, for every 1 gram of carb, you're going to store 3 grams of water. And so by simply eating 110 grams of carbs, you're going to store 330 grams of water. That's 1 pound from only 110 grams of carbs. Rest assured, when you're in a calorie deficit, when you're cutting weight, in particular when you're cutting carbs, you are going to look and feel smaller because you are.
Under the calorie range that you're supposed to, as long as you're in a deficit, it doesn't matter what you eat, essentially. That's what Greg and Dr. Mike were saying, it doesn't really matter. And Fuad said, wouldn't it be smarter to eat, since you're already in a calorie deficit, to eat food that's more nutrient dense for your body? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. From my experience, that macro shit don't work.
Yeah.
For genetic freaks, they could do whatever.
And so here's the thing. The way that information was presented, the way they asked Coach Kyle, they said, does it matter as long as you're in a calorie deficit? Is it all going to be the same? Does macros matter? And the answer is, of course it matters. If all you ate was 2,000 calories of all sugar with no protein, of course you're going to lose muscle. But regardless of that, it does not change the fact that if you are in a calorie deficit, you are going to lose weight. But what's presented on the Fuad Abiyad podcast was that Mike Israetel was saying, even if you follow Coach Greg's advice, if you eat from his cookbook, if, for example, one meal every single day is a protein bar, it's a protein shake, it will make no difference in the end versus eating 100% perfect. That if you have some sugar in your diet, it doesn't matter. That is what the research says. And so if you're going by bro science, you have to have no artificial sweeteners. You can't have any sugar-free maple syrup. You can't have Diet Pop. The truth of the matter is it won't matter unless it does. And when does it matter? If you get a sore stomach, you're allergic to things, you can't handle certain nutrients. But if you eat a protein bar and you feel fine, it doesn't matter. If the protein comes from a protein bar, or if the protein comes from whey protein, or if the protein comes from chicken, it's all okay. In the end, it doesn't matter. But obviously, we all know you need 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. We all know that you should be eating fruits and vegetables. But in the end, the extras, the small changes, the 50 calories of maple syrup, it's not going to matter.
If you're always eating like the basic food that you eat now, sure. An advanced person, they could do it that way.
Coach Kyle is saying, look, if you're eating all the basics now and you add in a cookie, it's okay. It's not going to make a difference. And so on my coaching plans, if you're going to get my free diet and training program, or if you're a coach by Coach Greg, you will notice that you have every single day an optional snack. This snack can be whatever you want. It could literally be a chocolate bar. It doesn't make any difference in the end. And what would I rather see? I'd rather people follow a diet that they can follow for the rest of their life versus thinking that any time they eat something that's off limits, that they're doing something bad. We're not trying to demonize foods. We're trying to say everything is okay in moderation.
Motherfuckers were saying you could eat donuts. You could eat 1,000. You could eat 2,000 calories in donuts and still lose weight.
Like his cookbook, right? Could you do that sometimes? Sure. Can you do it every day? You're not going to get in good shape that way.
Yeah. Coach Kyle is saying, can you eat from my cookbook sometimes? He's saying, yeah, sometimes. But you eat something from that every single day, you're not going to get in shape. This is complete BS. You can absolutely eat from the cookbook every single day. Ask Ian Valere. Guy made it to the Mr. Olympia, coached him for a year straight, won the overall turn pro in every competition. Ian argues he was in the best shape of his life while being coached by Coach Greg. Watch the video.
When I worked with Greg, I looked amazing. I looked crazy good. When I worked with Greg Doucette, I ate protein bars, protein pudding, I ate popcorn, and that was the best conditioning I probably had in all this life.
I never stated that it doesn't work or it's not good.
And so, for example, if you ate anabolic French toast for breakfast every single day, do you really think you're going to look so much better if you switched anabolic French toast to chicken, broccoli, and rice? Do you really think it's going to matter? And in the evening, if before bed you have anabolic protein ice cream, do you think that that is somehow going to diminish the way you look? That if you replace that, for example, with chicken versus an anabolic protein ice cream shake, do you think you're going to actually look better? The answer is no, it won't matter. Now, does that mean I say that you should only eat junk food? That you should just eat Pop-Tarts, crumble, ice cream, and so on and not care about anything? Of course not. You need to have the basics. You should be eating from all the food groups you need to get the proper vitamins and nutrients. But once you've had all that, it's okay to have artificial sweeteners and to even eat sugar.
Yeah, you could do it then, and you could follow something. Yeah, for sure it works. But if you're trying to get next level, I wouldn't do it inside 8 weeks, that's for sure.
And so what Coach Kyle is saying is, look, this works for the everyday person. This can even work for a bodybuilder. But inside of 8 weeks out from the show, you can't do it. Yet Chris Bumstead himself, have you watched his videos? He's literally had protein ice cream and artificial sweeteners in his meal preps before his competition. This is the best classic physique competitor in the world, the GOAT. And so does anyone think it hurt his physique? How did Chris Bumstead look? And so does anyone think that Chris Bumstead, he would have just looked so much better? Imagine if he had cut out having that whey protein. Imagine if he had not had protein ice cream. Wow, the difference it would make. I don't think so.
I'm quoting you on this right now.
Train hard tomorrow, we'll get sushi.
No fucking way.
A specialty roll? Or just tuna? Right.
And so on the one end, you can't have anabolic French toast, you can't have protein ice cream, but it's okay to have sushi? How does this make sense? How is it that we can have cheat meals, but we can't have meals from the anabolic cookbook within 8 weeks out from a show?
We got some really good snacks here. Oh my god, dude. What? Hey, this is a good pre-workout snack.
Literally, they're on day 2 of their prep, and they're already looking for cheat snacks. Do you think Coach Kyle is going to prove this? If Coach Kyle doesn't want them to eat from my cookbook within 8 weeks out from the show, do you really think they're going to let them have a protein cookie, a protein bar, or even Greek yogurt with sugar-free maple syrup?
What you looking at, man?
Bro, in bodybuilding, it's all about the sauces, bro.
5 calories.
He's low calorie, bro.
And I agree with him. All about the sauces. You can make very bland, boring meals. For example, chicken, broccoli, and rice. If you put on the right sauces, low in calories, nothing wrong with that. I am all for it. I don't think you should be cutting out these sauces. I think you should be enjoying your meals. If you don't enjoy the meals, the majority of people are just going to cheat on their diets.
Mom, can I get the honey mustard?
The honey mustard's cool.
And so notice, hey, yeah, it's okay, the honey mustard. Why is one thing okay, honey mustard, but not, for example, the Greek yogurt or the sugar-free maple syrup? Why is it not okay to put sweetener in your coffee or have a Diet Coke, but it is okay to have honey mustard barbecue sauce?
Bro, these sauces are unfucking real. Like, unreal.
And so notice, the sauces are unreal. They're game changers. They're making them enjoy their diet. They're having their rice cakes with their chicken on top, which reminds me of meals from my cookbook. And so if you want to add sugar-free barbecue sauces and so on to these things, then why not?
The only thing that makes me happy is looking at myself in the mirror. Ball out for it. And some zins. Revive sex is going to make me hungry.
And so he says the only thing that makes him happy is looking at himself in the mirror and some zins. Not even sexy time is helping. It requires too much energy. It weakens him. Well, consider this. When you do cardio, you're burning calories. When you do cardio in the bedroom, you're burning calories. Now, if you're having a hard time going harder than last time, then why not try harder than last time? Remember, code Greg, 15% off. And of course, don't forget about GO2 Max for increased energy and Turk Builder. If you're looking to have more energy, train with more effort in the gym, consider using these products. 15% off, code Greg. Click the link in the description. And so let me know in the comment section, are you on Team Coach Greg and Mike Israetel that you believe that you can in fact have a protein bar, you could have anabolic French toast protein ice cream, or do you believe that diet pop and sugar-free maple syrup should be off limits? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Also watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the cookbook, the Circle Diet book, How to Follow a Diet for the Rest of Your Life. Written this book, it only takes you 6 hours. You can read it while doing cardio. Get that on the website. Coaching plans by me and my team, phone consults, as well as the free diet and training program on the website. Join the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.